John Bach with gunsavelife.com. Thank you so much, sir, for coming on the program tonight.
Well, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. You know, we talk about these quote-unquote buyback programs on the show quite a bit. I like to call them compensated confiscation programs, and I'm not a big fan. I don't think they really, I don't think they do anything at all to benefit public safety. I think it's a feel-good measure, you know, for the folks who are holding this, but it doesn't actually accomplish anything. However, I may have to eat my words because you and your group have figured out a way to actually perhaps make these compensated confiscation programs worthwhile endeavors.
Well, it's an artificial impact on the market, and we've taken the opportunity to unload some rusty, non-firing junk into this artificial market and let them spend some of their money to do a good cause, in this case to help us send some kids to an NRA youth camp and teach them proper and safe and responsible gun use and ownership.
I love that. That is fantastic. You know, you guys wrote about this, you wrote about this, and you say one of the locations you went to, one of the detectives there was friendly or said that he saw an old Civil War era revolver come through and thought it was really sad. You know, that's the corollary here. You guys were able to take a bunch of junk guns, get good money for them, and now you're going to be able to send some kids out to a youth shooting camp. But on the other side, there are people who turn in very valuable firearms and have no idea how much they're worth and may be losing out on thousands of dollars if they had actually gone to a firearms dealer or an appraiser.
Cam, I think that you're looking at very much the exception rather than the rule. By and large, it's a bunch of older people there turning in older guns, many of which are 100 years old type old guns. Many are non-firing, many are inexpensive trademark infringement guns, and there's always an exception where somebody brings in a old valuable gun, but you know, a fool and his money are soon parted, and if you turn in a $10,000 gun out of idiocy that you don't know what it is for a $100 gift card, well, you probably deserve what you got coming there.
I don't know. I guess I have a softer spot, John. I remember a story out of Florida a couple of years ago, and a widow ended up turning in a gun that was in her attic. It was, you know, one of her husband's guns that he brought back from World War II. Turns out it was a prototype Japanese rifle, one of, I think, 22 known to be in existence. And ultimately, curators were able to save that gun from being destroyed. It was worth about $250,000. You know, you're right. Those are obviously the exceptions to the rule, which is why that story stands out in my mind. You know, most folks who have studied these programs talk about the quote-unquote garbage guns, dare I say, the types of guns that you all turned in.
Absolutely. They're by and large junk, and we just are fortunate enough that we did this back in 2007 and came away with $2,300 that we used to buy ammunition for this youth camp that they have at Darnell's in Bloomington. It's the longest-running NRA youth shooting camp in the nation, and this year we're going to take this money. We voted last night to buy $2,500 worth of ammunition for this year's camp, which will be taking place in about a month, and we also are going to buy 4 CZ rifles, bolt-action rifles, 2 in youth size and 2 in regular size, to give away to the youth that participate there, some lucky youth there. And by and large, we see this as an investment to teach tomorrow's gun owners safe and responsible use of guns. And we're very enthusiastic supporters of this camp, and we can't think of a better way of funding this camp than letting Mayor Emanuel spend his money to buy this ammunition and these guns to help these kids become future gun owners.
That is so cool. Hey, John, thanks again for coming on the program. And do you know when the next buyback or compensated confiscation program is going to be held?
Well, I saved back 10 guns. Supposedly there's going to be one here in Urbana, Illinois, coming up in the month of July. So I'm going to pay them a visit. And, of course, Gun Save Life will be collecting guns over the course of this next year to take them back up to Chicago next year. And hopefully next year we can fund the youth camp with the money that we raise through gun turn-ins next year by selling worthless, rusty junk to do-gooders for perfectly good money.
Hey, John, thanks again, and please keep up the great work, sir.
Hey, thank you, Cam, and you have a great day.
You too. John Bach, president of GunSafeLife.com, joining us here on Cam and Company.